Hey yes, Snacks, happy to see you again. Welcome back. Today I found you some real pathetic takes on the internet just to remind you that hey, sometimes you may be wrong, but at least you're not as wrong as these people. We begin in a subreddit that took no consideration into color matching their title with their background. Wearing makeup is a huge problem as it leads men on. Wearing makeup is a huge problem as it leads men on. I'm sick of having to spin the wheel of fortune on a woman's looks. You acting like a toddler, unlike me with my 320 eyesight. It's like golf, the lower number means you're better. Had a situation that opened my eyes. Went on one date with a girl and was unsure about her. She wasn't my usual type. She invited me over for a second date. She then came on to me. Then we went to bed. She took her makeup off and goddamn. She went from a 7 to a 2! No freaking way! I did not consent to hook up with that person! Yeah, we really gotta repair this mindset that, like, dude, you've just changed your mind. You're no longer into this person. That's okay. But don't make this a consent thing. She's not pressuring you. She's just done something that you're suddenly not into anymore. You're turned off. You're not... I don't know. It really vexes me when people use terminology that doesn't actually fit the circumstance. I mean, am I wrong? I guarantee I'm valid to have this hate because I do it myself all the time and I hate myself, so. Before you call me shallow, understand that you are the one so insecure that you need to essentially wear a mask of makeup. Bro immediately assumes it's women who think this is a dumb take and not everyone else. Bro, it is bullsmit. You expect me to just play the lottery? You could be a 2 out of 10 under that disguise of makeup. It is a joke. Why are you false advertising? You are a real-life catfish. Now, before someone hits me with a dumb response, well, you can tell when a girl wears lots of makeup. 1, I am a guy, so I don't know about makeup. 2, women use makeup to make it look like they naturally look like that. If I went on dating apps with a pic of Brad Pitt as my profile pic, then I am catfishing. This is no different. How are there genuine people in this world who have amazing talent yet severe self-doubt, and then these people who have the confidence to make such a take? Let's just translate these 2 points. First point, you can't prove me wrong that the world isn't flat because I'm too stupid. Checkmate, atheists. I don't know about you, but I think it's apparent this man is jealous that women have this cheat code in life. Which, sure, yeah, if you think a cheat code is having to spend an extra few hours every single outing just to feel some sense of appreciation for yourself, which among that, as a double-edged sword, well, you suddenly have this confidence in yourself now by seeing your reflection in the mirror being like, oh, wow, I actually do look nice. Now you're being harassed by the opposite sex because you put on some stuff to make yourself feel happier about yourself. Like, I don't know about you, dudes, but I kind of appreciate that all I really need to do is have a shower and make my hair nice. But I mean, that's the other thing. The only people who are against guys wearing makeup are equally shallow women, as in the kind you wouldn't even want to date or be with anyway, and men themselves. Like, this guy's his own enemy. Like, so many people in this comments are just perplexed. Like, okay, yeah, sure, makeup can really change the shape and face of some people if they do a really good job, but be real with yourself. If you think some more prominent eye bags or pimple scarring is a real deal breaker in a relationship for you, like, honestly, I hope you don't improve as a person. You kind of deserve to struggle to find a date. And another great point in these comments, notably one saying, hey, if this person can go up 5 points with just their makeup alone, they need to do tutorials. But this comment here, so yeah, you spend some time on TikTok watching makeup videos, you see women do drastically change with the amount of makeup they put on. However, OP clearly loves the fake look of makeup since that's all he's going for. It's glaringly obvious when people wear a lot of makeup. He's just trying to play the "oh my god, I was born yesterday, I don't know anything, card. I don't understand how it is some women's fault if a guy is so dumb he thinks my eyelids are really gold. Someone pointed out that they could see my roots once and I was like, oh no, people will know my hair is not naturally pink. It's official. Every problem men face is now women's fault. It's a real shame though because it's not fully necessary to dig on this guy. While they ironically have other posts in their history saying things like, Reddit has an unhealthy obsession with things that do not exist. Ah, if only your past self could see the posts you make now. But they've made other takes in the past though, like, the last thing most men need is to get laid. In fact, most men have a really unhealthy obsession with intimacy. And goddamn man, that's a very valid point. Look at you allegedly being a men's right incel activist, but actually considering that men themselves are at fault of things that they need to fix themselves. If you can acknowledge that men's sex obsession is a problem, then hopefully you can acknowledge that your eyesight is a problem too. Over to our next story. Bit of a freshie for you. 7 hours ago, am I the a-hole for a text message I sent to my potentially infertile daughter?
My wife, 65 female, and I, a 67 male, have 2 kids, Sarah, 38, and Adam, 35, both of whom have spouses whom we love dearly. Sarah got married 5 years ago. Adam got married 4 years ago. Now, Sarah and her husband, Joey, have been trying for kids since they got married, but got delayed due to unforeseen circumstances, and they are now going through IVF. Adam and his wife, Clarissa, put off having kids for a couple of years while Adam was in med school, but then started trying for kids themselves. It's been really hard for Sarah and Joey to have kids, and there's been several complications, but things are now back on track. However, due to the length of time it's taking, Sarah is becoming more and more depressed. We're trying to support her, but there's only so much we can do. The doctors haven't told her she can't have kids, but it's getting less and less likely as she grows older. Well, now Adam and Clarissa recently found out that they're expecting a child, much to their and our excitement. However, they're hesitating about how to tell Sarah. Adam really looks up to his older sister. They're very close, as my wife and I worked a lot when they were younger, and my kids only had each other for a while. Adam didn't want to cause his sister more emotional distress, but he wanted to tell her before Clarissa became very pregnant. Now, Adam decided to just call Sarah and tell her directly, and from what he told us later, she did not take it well at all. She wished him a perfunctory congratulations and has been incommunicado since then. Now, we tried to respect her privacy while she processed this, but eventually I had had enough.
Ah, there it is. The little devil on his shoulder is whispering into his ear.
Yes, your daughter thinks she's a failure to the family, but what about you? You're clearly the victim here.
Yeah, Adam's upset that his sister isn't happy for him, Clarissa is hurt that her sister-in-law isn't supportive, and my wife misses her daughter. Egads, why can't our daughter see how much her depression affects us? Eventually, I called Sarah, got her voicemail, and left her a very angry message telling her that even if she can't have kids, oh my God, she should be happy for her brother, and that she can at least be an aunt. Sarah sent me one angry text message with a lot of expletives and told me not to contact her again. When I showed this to my wife, well, she got upset at me and said that I should have worded the text nicer, but I said that infertility isn't an excuse for rude behavior. So, am I the a-hole for this text and my attitude towards my daughter?
You know what, mate? I still have to give you props. A man of your generation reaching out for advice and help. That's a unique quality. Obviously, me as a millennial can't really talk either because we struggle doing the exact same thing with emotions. Over in the opinion pit, we have thoughts such as, Nita, the truth hurts. Self-pity is one thing, jealousy is another. Give her what she wants, to be left alone, wallowing in self-pity, and support your son the best you can. And congratulations, sir, to spelling pity wrong twice. Incredible display there. The judges below you are crying. A few people do have that similar thought though, regardless. To summarize this, basically saying that, yeah, okay, I personally did struggle or won't be able to have kids. I really desire that. But regardless, when people are close to me are announcing pregnancies, I'm happy for them. Hooray! More bad boys! And I think that's a valid opinion. It's okay to feel upset that you're not achieving something someone else is easily achieving compared to you, but at least be a bit honest about it. Like, hey, I am genuinely happy for you. Unfortunately, my insecurities about this are much stronger, so while I don't seem like I'm very happy for you, I want you to know that in time I will be. Just invest in it, please. Invest in my pity, and I assure you I'll be a happy person for you. But yeah, overall, it's a clear indication that this man went way too far. Lacking a lot of empathy, kind of just telling their adult daughter to get over it. As if you won't at all be completely ecstatic every time this pregnant woman comes to the household or when the eventual baby comes. Like, be real, man. You literally talked about how excited you were for this. Of course your daughter is going to feel like a failure and depressed about it. But hey, that's just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours down below. Anyway, let's spice things up and look at a woman being delusional on Reddit instead. From earlier today, am I the a-hole for asking my mentor's fiance not to marry him? Can you see where this is going? Yeah. I'm 30 and I had a very rough childhood. My life was armless. Wait, what does that even mean? 12 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to this mentorship groups that guide young people to realize their dreams. There is Eyesight, 35, his PA, Kelvin, 30, and 3 senior mentors who help manage the place. Even though Kelvin was very young back then, he devoted his life to helping the youth turn around their lives. I got very close to Kelvin. With his help, I made it to college and I'm currently a teacher. I go to him for advice of anything from family to work to school. He is always there to assist even though he has a life on his own. It's been years, but I am still in the mentorship group. I am currently a mentor myself, also helping others. The group has grown and we have over 30 branches. Kelvin is still currently the associate partner.
And now, for the obvious signals he was never interested.
Along the way, I fell in love with Kelvin. I confessed my love to him twice. The first one, he told me he isn't ready to start dating and he wants to focus on himself and the group. The second time, 2 years ago, he told me the same thing and told me not to wait for him, but go out there and find someone to date if I want to. Which obviously means he's totally into me and he just wants to make sure I'm sure. But I'm definitely sure. I must be with him at all costs. My issue started when we had a mentors meeting. We decided to have a dinner party and we are allowed to bring out dates. I overheard one of the senior mentors teasing Kelvin about me. She told him that after he takes me to the dinner, they will be expecting wedding bells shortly. Kelvin only laughed. I even go to his house and sleep on his bed. The only thing he never allows me to do is cook for him or do his laundry, even though I offer several times. I mean, he practically saved me. But Kelvin didn't invite me. I know, he is shy. I still went to the dinner, and he entered with a lady and introduced her as his fiancé. Everyone was shocked except Eyesight and 2 of the male senior leaders who seemed to know her very well.
Oh, come on. What are you trying to do here? You're trying to imply that she sleeps around?
It's the only way men could know other women if they sleep with them. She is Kiara, a doctor. She told me Kelvin has told her much about me and she is proud of me. I also found out she is very rich and a major financier of the group. In fact, the name of the group was decided by her and she has been to a few meetings. I feel so deceived and annoyed. I saw him holding the hands of Kiara and he kissed her. He never even held my hands. I always thought he was just shy, which was sweet. The same evening, they announced they are getting married in a very private ceremony a month away. I couldn't contain my anger. I called Kiara aside and begged her not to marry Kelvin. I had planned my whole life around him from the first day I saw him. From our big wedding to kids to managing the foundation together. Most of the volunteers even respect me as Kevin's wife-to-be and give me that honor. She told me she is sorry, but she and Kelvin had also planned their lives since she was 13, and she is pregnant. I was shouting, so people heard me. She told Kelvin, who acted shocked. He said he loved and cared for me as a sister, and I disrespected his fiancé and embarrassed him. Now everyone is saying I am the a-hole. Oof.
Yeah, bit of a hard pill for this person to swallow, it seems.
Obviously, the comments are trying to call out the delusion this woman seems to have, but despite pointing out that he clearly rejected you multiple times, no, he just wasn't ready. Yes, he wasn't ready because he was already with someone else. And in that regard, though, I feel like, dude, if you were aware of the fact she's clearly into you, like by the second time she's confessed her feelings, you should, if you respect this person as a sister, like you allege, you'd let her know that you're currently with someone. I feel after the second time, you kinda are just leading her on, even if not on purpose. Like, am I right to say that? Am I wrong? Is it kind of just her responsibility to learn to move on? I just feel with the fact that apparently some of the volunteers would consider her to be the wife-to-be and give her that honor, etc. The fact they'd make jokes about her being invited by Kelvin to this dinner instead of his actual partner. It seems like it isn't just her being delusional, it's also everyone encouraging her to believe this. I mean, let's be real, some mentorship programs are kind of a cult. But enough theory, let's get scientifical, which I guess is still kind of theory. Shut up! So the last paragraph made some people think it's rather cinematic in behavior, possibly even fake. But as an avid watcher of crime drama points out, there was a Law & Order episode 30 years ago where a woman rationalized herself into believing she was having an affair with someone who hardly knew her. In the show, it was presented as a clinical delusion. And turns out that's an actual thing called erotomania, where you think someone is secretly in love with you. In this case, every kindness he showed her was proof that he loved her. And yeah, it's definitely an illusion. And to further point out that, his multiple rejections, those are classic brush-off lines. I'm neurodivergent, and I know that. Like, damn, that's... If you need evidence that you suck at reading the room, that's it. But look, end of the day, I can understand how much it would hurt seeing him hold the hands of Kiara, especially when you're armless. Checking out now a two-parter over the last week in r/relationship advice. And oh my, the attempts of sabotaging a relationship here are akin to the French resistance during the occupation of Nazi Germany. That's a really stupid reference. Sorry. Story. I'm 31 female. My best friend, 32 female, is telling me that my boyfriend, 34, cheated with her. But he says that she's lying. How do I get to the truth and then salvage whichever one of these relationships is worth saving? I've been friends with Becca since 2010. We were college roommates, and then after we graduated, we still lived together up until I moved in with my boyfriend, Nate, in 2019. One thing about Becca is that she's always had a drinking problem for as long as I've known her, and she's done stuff while drunk that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She does try to stay sober, but every few years something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. So, last Saturday, Becca called me because she was drunk somewhere and needed a ride home. I couldn't go pick her up because I had the flu and was on cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. So a couple of days after that, I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. Normally he leaves it out on the coffee table while we're watching TV or whatever, but he started putting it face down so I couldn't see what notifications he was getting. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise, and because of the timing, I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Well, yesterday I saw Becca and I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden and asked her if he had said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car the night that he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really drunk and didn't fully know what was happening. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in the app Signal, which deletes messages after a day. So all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread, but nothing that they had said. I told her to text Nate in front of me so I could see what he said, and she did, but we got no read receipt and so no response at all, so it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she wasn't so drunk that she maybe imagined it or thought a dream was real, and she absolutely lost her mind on me and said that she knows that she's horrible when she drinks, but that's not a freaking delusional, and she doesn't make stuff up. She said that I could believe her or not, and it's my choice, but she was telling me the truth. I said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. So when I got home, I confronted Nate with what Becca had said. And he acted shocked and denied that anything like that had happened at all, and said he didn't know why she'd think so or say so. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home, and the only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Signal for the next couple of days, but he said that it was about exactly what I thought, that he was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before, asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal, and she texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. So then Nate called her, pretending like I wasn't in the room, and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up, and he'd rather just have the surprise be ruined, but Becca just kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. I really didn't know what to think, and I still don't. Right now, Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it's bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose, but it's even worse that I believed her lies, even a little, and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry, but otherwise, I haven't talked to her either. I don't want to think that Nate would cheat on me, or that he'd take advantage of Becca if she was that drunk, but I feel like I can't be 100% sure because I've known Becca for 13 years, and I also just can't believe that she'd lie to me about something this important. And I know that she does have a drinking problem, so I can believe that she'd sleep with my boyfriend if she was drunk out of her head. She's done some pretty awful things in the past when she's been drunk, but I don't want to wrongly accuse Nate of something he didn't do, but I don't want to be an idiot. So, which answer is it? Well, some info in the comments points out that Signal doesn't automatically delete messages after a day. You have to turn on that feature. So maybe your boyfriend is involved in something that would make him turn on that feature. Otherwise, yeah, that's a bit sus of him. And so that seems to be the best course of action for the OP. Finding some way to back up the messages, recover them the last 30 days or so, apparently it is possible. But until then, the OP does give some more info on Becca's past, which, not to victim blame, but it doesn't unfortunately paint her in the best light. As apparently Becca is blacked out and started fights with the OP and other people, randomly kicking people out of their apartment when they were living together because she didn't remember inviting them in, accusing OP of stealing clothes from her because she was wearing an outfit that looked like something that she also owned. Thankfully, she's never hooked up with anyone that the OP was dating, but definitely hooked up with guys that she knew the OP was interested in. Of course, that all said, that doesn't really define the Becca being a lying person. It just shows she lacks control with alcohol. So if anything, probably further accredits the fact that she slept with her boyfriend while drunk. Which just brings us back to square one, where you don't think Nate would cheat, but you can't imagine Becca would just make that up. So with the Signal idea being the best step forward, we come back with the update just 2 days later. OP telling Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Signal. He immediately took out his phone and opened the app and asked me to show him how to do it. So I already thought that must mean he was willing to tell me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate at all. Which was good because when I tried to download Signal on my old phone, it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it wouldn't work. Nate then asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth, and he said that he was willing to do it if that's what it would take. I told Nate that it wasn't, that I didn't believe him. I just wanted to have some proof because I just couldn't understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she's freaking crazy drunk bitch and there's literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything. And once the messages proved that, he didn't ever want me talking to her again. Then he said to get up, because if we were going to go to the Verizon store, we had to get there before it closed. Now by then, I completely believed Nate anyway, so I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone, and that I believed him. And I knew he didn't cheat on me and that he would never do that. Nate said that he would hope I know that and that he didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Becca had said happened, but Nate said that he really couldn't listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off, but that first I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said, fine. But to call her with my phone on speaker because he thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying.
It's a bit suspicious of Nate there trying to encourage her to cut her off, as well as just this huge snapping at her about being crazy drunk. You don't even talk to her ever again.
But also, to be fair, this woman has possibly destroyed your invested relationship, so I can understand if he's a bit snappy towards Becca. So I called Becca, and I said the same thing to her that I said to Nate. That I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Signal. She asked me why I would need to do that. So that was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that, Becca just went silent. Until finally, I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant we were engaged now. So then I really just lost it on her and screamed at her, asking her if she was freaking serious and what the frick was wrong with her and how could that possibly be all that she had to say. Becca started screaming back, telling me to calm down and about how obviously I never believed her anyway because it's not like we broke up over it. I was honestly crying by that point, and because of that, I couldn't really say anything else. So then Nate told Becca to go frick herself and to never, ever contact either one of us ever again, and hung up on her. But a minute later, Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that I'm quoting here verbatim, apart from the changed names. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Boys, if you have your call a girl crazy and not be called a misogynist for it card, now is your time to play it.
Courtney, you are supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to be my person. But then you meet Nate, and now you only care about Nate. Everything is about Nate! Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you! I called you, not your precious freaking Natty! I only want you to see how this is, but do you? No! Of course you don't! Of course you choose Natty over me like you always do and like you always will. You pretend to care about me, but I can see you don't care. It is pathetic, Courtney. You are a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. But since you can't say it yourself, I will. Since you have to have your sweet, perfect little baby Nate do it for you, I will. Goodbye, Courtney. Is that what you want? Goodbye forever! I hope you fucking got what you fucking want!
Oh, what a sweet little swend-off. There were the 3 dots after that showing that she was still typing more, but I blocked her before she sent it. I don't care about anything else that she has to say. I'm sure it's all just going to be more bullshit about why this is my fault, or justifications about why what she did wasn't that bad and I should forgive her. I know Nate is probably right, and there's no non-crazy logic behind why Becca would stoop to doing something like this, but obviously I've still been thinking about it, and my best guess is that whoever said that Becca still blames me and Nate, apparently mostly Nate, for her being a drunk mess who can't get her life together is right. It seems like she somehow thought that if she said she hooked up with Nate, I'd break up with him, but still want to be friends with her, and then everything would magically be fixed. As far as stuff with Nate, I asked him if he thought he could ever forgive me for doubting him, and he said that since I came to my senses and I cut Becca off, he guesses we can try to put it behind us. I don't think he's still going to propose anytime soon. After this, I probably wouldn't if I was him. And from what Nate said, he didn't actually do any planning yet other than asking Becca about rings and if I'd think a public proposal was tacky or not. All he was doing so far was trying to get ideas without me knowing he was talking to her about it. So just based on that, I think probably it's not going to happen for a while, if it still does at all. And that's the supposed conclusion. Smartly enough, the OP is talking about how it is possible this won't be the last of Becca, expecting the mutual friends to be caught in the crossfire with all this, which of course I feel like the best course of action, as this person says, is just to get ahead of it, making OP a possible victim of having to be the center of attention, as they clearly aren't looking forward to, which I don't blame them. I don't know about you, but half of my motivation to not cause any drama is just so I don't have to keep talking to people about it. Anyway, that's how things ended. Do you think they did a good process about this? Or is it possible that Nate was kind of pushing her ahead a bit than she was actually comfortable with in terms of dumping the friend straight away? Let me know what you think. For now though, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.